I've posted a number of videos over the last few months showing various elements of my sailing project, but I haven't made a video showing how all of the systems work together. In this video, I want to show a more in-depth overview of how the sailing system actually works, and what kind of game I intend for this project to be. Essentially, I'm a big fan of ships and sailing and just about anything to do with the ocean. But I feel there's not a lot of games, especially recent games, that scratch that itch for me. So first off, this is not a simulator. I don't intend for every action or system to be 100% realistic, or for every little element to function exactly as it would on a real ship. That said, this isn't going to be a game where you can drive a ship like a car. Wind matters, weather matters, weight matters. So I'm hoping to strike a bit of a midline between a full-on simulator and something that is fun for most people to actually play. So you've got a boat and you want it to go somewhere. Awesome. Sails will help you with that, and the potential speed of a ship is governed by a couple of factors. The main sources being the angle of the wind relative to the hull, and more importantly, the angle of the wind relative to each sail. Meaning that even if the hull is pointed pretty close to the wind direction, you can still make some headway so long as the sails are angled to catch the wind at a proper angle. You can't travel directly into the wind, however, so you're still going to need to learn how to tack. Here we're slowly turning back into the wind so that we don't run aground. And you can see the sails filling with wind quite a bit more than they were at the start of the video. I wanted to keep sail control a little more interactive than I've seen before, so to modify the angle of the sails, you have to directly interact with the rigging. Some ropes can be lifted and moved and tied to various cleats or other anchor points on the hull. There's still some icons missing for it, but you can also increase or spool out or spool in the ropes using the mouse wheel or the trigger buttons on a controller. The sails can also be reefed individually, and you will need to do this to control your speed, especially in severe weather or in a port, for example. Heel is calculated similarly to sail thrust, being based around wind direction and its forces on the sails. Turning the ship can actually magnify these forces, especially in strong winds, so you do need to be careful in heavy winds or heavy seas, or you might take on some water or straight up swamp the hull. Navigation is still a pretty heavily work in progress. I do intend for players to be able to make positional calculations somewhat realistically, but I do intend to add enough convenience features to remove the bulk of the tedium. And I will be probably making a lot of these systems optional, as I get that doing a bunch of math isn't everybody's cup of tea. Currently, the three main tools used for navigation are the quadrant, the chronometer, and to a lesser extent, the compass. Using the quadrant at night will allow you to see constellations. We're a bit cloudy right now, so a lot of them are somewhat obscured. It will also display the angle relative to what you're looking at and the horizon. Using this on the North Star, for example, will give you your current latitude. The compass doesn't need a whole lot of explanation. It points the direction you are going. Right now, it does not take into account anything like magnetic deviation or poles or anything like that. It's 100% accurate. It will remain to be seen whether I stick with that, but for now, it's completely accurate. Lastly, the chronometer is still pretty heavily a work-in-progress tool. Currently what it does is it gives you the prime meridian time on the top and the local time on the bottom. You can use the difference between the two of these to calculate your longitude. Eventually, I do intend to add a map system as well. But I haven't fully decided exactly how that's going to work yet. Currently, cargo is not a dynamic system, like you'd see in something like Sailwind, for example. Rather, each ship has a variety of areas in which cargo boxes may be stored. Taking on cargo will fill these evenly until the full shipment is on board or the ship is full. Depending on the cargo, this may overload the hull, though, so you need to keep the weight in mind and maybe stick to partial loads if you have big seas to deal with. Right now, you can see it is empty. I have a hotkey to add cargo just for display purposes, so you can see it being added now. It on top of myself there for a moment, but this is a full load, so the ship is going to be sitting quite a bit lower in the water and isn't going to be able to make very good time. But if you like taking a lot of stuff a long way, you can do that. I've covered this in a previous video, but I wanted to go over it again here. Most ships have two anchor types. The first being the drop anchor. This just functions as you would normally expect an anchor to function. You can lower it to stop moving, so long as the rope is long enough. That's about all that it does. The second anchor type is the kedging anchor. Think of this like a winch, essentially. The main purpose of this is to move the ship into or away from a particular position. If you run aground, you can use this to pull yourself back off of the rocks, though it's also useful to navigate ships, especially larger ones, in harbors or towards docks. The anchor can be deployed anywhere in the water, and once deployed, the capstan will drag the ship towards the deployed point. If the position is wrong, or you just decide not to use it, the anchor can be retrieved at any time. If you're feeling adventurous, you can also use it to turn very quickly. Docking ropes function very similarly to the kedging anchor. Let's go for a bit of a swim here because I didn't bother getting close enough. Currently, you can drag the ropes out for as long as you like, but of course, that's something I intend to change. So essentially, you can tie off these ropes at cleats. You can see these are a bit work in progress at the moment, but tying the ship to one of these cleats will drag the ship over to it. And there it is. Still a fair bit of work to do on that system, as there's a bit of jank and jitter and obviously unfinished models. But yeah, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to have some more videos posted in the near future.